All right, so looking at the last three sections of E, looking at equations of lines, then slopes of parallel and perpendicular lines, and equations of parallel and perpendicular lines. So equations of lines, looking at this first section, let's take a look. Okay, so a line includes the points 9, 8 and 4, 9. What is the equation point slope form? So what we're going to have to do on this one is going to be to find the slope first. So the slope is going to be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that's just going to give us what m is equal to. So this is going to be our x1, y1. Then we have x2, y2. Okay, so we have 9 minus 8 over 4 minus 9. Okay, so our slope is going to be 1 over -5. So -1/5. Okay, we're going to use one of those points. It doesn't matter which one. It's going to give us the same thing. We use that point slope formula, which is y minus y1 equals m, which is our slope, times the parentheses of x minus x1. So we're just going to choose one of those points. So let's choose, I'm going to use this first one, 9 and 8. So our y for that, our y1 is going to be 8. So y minus 8 equals our slope, which we found is -1/5. And that's going to be in parentheses x minus 9. Okay. So we'd have to distribute. We're going to distribute the -1/5. So that's going to be -1/5 x. And this is 9. So when we're multiplying a fraction, we just break this part down. This is the same as 9 over 1. So on the top, we're going 9. And then we got 5 times 1. So it's going to be -9/5. So give us a longer one to start out with. Okay. And then this side, we still have y minus 8. And then we're going to have to add 8 to both sides. Okay. So let me just clean this up. So now we have y equals, we have -1/5 x. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? If I want to solve into a linear equation, I'm going to stop actually at this point because we're done actually right here. So I'm going to just write this line up there because they're asking for that point slope formula. So I almost started to do more work there. So we got y minus 8. Make sure I typed it in correctly. That's equal to, I have down here -1/5. And then I have parentheses. I have x minus 9. That's our x1. And then close parentheses. I hope I typed that all correctly. Let's see. Y minus 8. And I had -1/5 because that's what we found for our slope. And x minus 9. That should be correct. Good. All right, this one is a line that has a slope of 3 and passes through this point. So what is the equation point slope formula? So we use that same point slope formula again. So I have my y minus y1. y1 in this case is -5. So a minus is going to be a plus. So we're going to change that to a plus. And then we have our slope, which is 3. And we do parentheses x minus 3. Okay, so this should be our point slope formula right there. All right, let's do one more here. Let's see, 2 points, slope-intercept form. Let's try a different one here, actually. Sure, we can do this one. Okay, so line with point slope. So you have 2 points. So we're gonna have to find that slope again. Just one more time. So we have rise over run. So we have our y's on the top, and we have our x's on the bottom. Okay, so it's gonna be 5/7. This is gonna be our slope. I'm going to use the zeros in that. That makes it much easier. So in point slope formula, we have to start out with that first. So we have y minus 0 equals our slope, which is 5/7. And then we have x minus 0. Okay. So if I distribute here, anything times 0 is 0. So this is going to be 5/7. And y minus 0, I can take out the 0. So it's going to be y equals 5/7 x. And that should be our slope-intercept form. Here that equals y equals mx plus b. So there's no b here because 0. So it's just going to be y equals 5/7 x. Ta-da, there we go, all the way up to 88. Okay. So let's take a look at E5. This one is parallel and perpendicular slopes. So let's take a look. Parallel, they're gonna have the same exact slope if they're parallel. If they're perpendicular, we're gonna flip our ratio and then change the sign as well. So let me just do that here. This one is perpendicular, so we're gonna have to do that right away. So these two numbers will flip, and then this is going to become, and we're changing the sign, so this is going to be 4/9. This is when they're perpendicular. So if we have our lines, we have one going this way, we have another one going there, creating a 90-degree angle. So we have one slope that is here, and then the other slope is going to be going this way. Okay. So this one should be, as I wrote right here, 4/9. Okay, parallel. These are both parallel. We're looking for the slopes. That's going to be the same. So -4 and then over 9. There you go. Another parallel line. So we just look at the m right here. So it's just that number. So it's -7/4. A perpendicular. So we flip them and we add a negative. So it's going to be -7/5. All right. Then we can click here. They give us 3 options. So this one, there's nothing that's flipped. The signs are different. This is going to be a neither situation. So it's going to be this one right there. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at E6. Now we're looking for the equations of parallel and perpendicular lines. They might give us a point to use as well. So we use that point slope formula. So this one, equation of a line was y equals -4x minus 5/3. And then t includes the point -3 and 3 is parallel to s. So the slope is going to be the same for both of these, right? They give us a point, so we use that point slope formula. So that is, again, it's going to be y minus y1. y1 is 3 in this case. And our slope is the same. So our slope is right here, this number, -4. The -4 goes right there. And then we have x minus, because we got -3. So this is going to be +3 in this case. Okay. And see, write the equation in slope-intercept form. This is point slope form. So then this won't be correct. So I gotta distribute it and I gotta solve for y. So I got -4x. -4 times 3 is gonna be -12. And on this side we have y minus 3. I'm gonna have to do the opposite of subtraction. So I'm gonna add 3 to both sides. And so y is equal to, these will cancel each other out. And then we got -4x. And then this would be -12 plus 3. So that's going to be -9. So that should be my answer right there. So y is going to equal -4x minus 9. Okay. Here's one that's perpendicular. It's a great other example to use. Okay, so that means that my slope is going to be 7/3. Let's write that there. I'm going to use that point. So I got my x, I got my y. So y minus 4 equals my slope, which is flipping this and changing the sign. So this is 7/3. And it's going to be x minus 2. Okay. Distribute that. So you have 7/3 x. And then we have -2. So we're multiplying a fraction. We're doing 7/3 times -2. So these we multiply across. This is the same. This number I can always put a 1 on the bottom. So this is 3 times 1. 3 times 1 is 3. 7 times 2 is 14. I have a negative sign on top. And that, yes, that's what we have. So that'd be minus 14/3. And then we have y minus 4. We bring those down. We're going to add 4 to both sides. We're almost done. We just got to do that last part. So y equals 7/3 x. 4 plus this. Let's make this a different number here instead of a mixed fraction. So 3 goes into 14 4 times with a remainder of 2. So 4 2/3. That's negative. And we're adding 4. Let's do that. So we're going to be left with this negative 2/3. So these 4s will cancel each other out. And then we have negative 2/3. Not a fun one. All right. That should be our answer. Y equals 7/3 x minus 2/3. Good. All right, let me just jump ahead, see if there's another more that we're going to do. Perpendicular, same. Okay. Perpendicular, yeah, same thing. So yeah, those are a few examples that we can work on. All right, so that's it for E.